Timmy's going to go with the home crowd. He's going to pick Devin Moran. I said it for you, so you won't see
I want a three-way, or actually a four-way, because I like Earl. I'd like to have a four-way tie. That way everybody likes me.
Hey, Dustin, by the way, he's drinking nothing but water. All right, at the Racing for Heroes start zone, here we go. Moran's going to grab the lead. Into turn number 120 laps. And Hudson O'Neal working the bottom. How about Max Blair down the back straightaway, Timmy?
I mean, Max is doing what he does. He's getting right in the middle of the track and just trying to keep that car arced up on the bars. And you can see Devin, he's running crooked. He's a hard driver, the 99.
How much different is this track from when you ran your first feature?
Well, they definitely packed it down, and every time they pack this track down, it's going to get better, and it's going to get more racy. As you see Hudson down there, we couldn't do that in our race because it was still a little slimy, and Hudson's making good time against the tires, which, like I said, if you know Hudson, he's usually at the other side of the racetrack blowing the cushion off, so it's getting racy. Max
Blair has never raced here, Timmy. He's doing pretty good. Here comes Hudson on the bottom. They're side by side at the turn 4. Any advice to Max Blair, first time here?
I'll tell you what, that was an amazing move, Hudson, to cross over like that and do what he did there. And wow, it's an exciting race right now.
Max Blair, Hudson O'Neal going out at a pair of rockets out of turn 4. Blair still has the lead. 4 laps books O'Neal, Moran, Ross, Robinson. And now Hudson O'Neal down the back straightaway. And Hudson O'Neal gets sideways. And he'll lose ground, and Max Blair, and here comes Moran on the outside, Timmy.
It looks like he might have just bottomed out. There might have been a small hole there, and he did a heck of a job hanging on that thing. Most of us might have been going the other way for a yellow at that point.
Moran with the crossover on Hudson O'Neal, slips over the bank. As they come out of turn 2, it is all turn 4, Max Blair. Now can Devin Moran catch him, Timmy? 6 laps in the books.
I'll tell you, Max looks really comfortable. I mean, he's right in both lanes, kind of not blocking, but just covering a little moisture on his left rear, getting into the corner, and he just eases across the track to keep that right rear buried on some moisture. And he looks tough. I mean, but the guys behind him, they're Chargers, so we'll see what happens.
Now, you ran against his dad, Robbie, didn't you, several times, right?
Yes, I did. I've run against Devin's dad, Robbie Blair.
Hudson's dad?
Yes, I've been and all 3 of them all raced a little bit different. I mean, the beauty, I really loved racing with Don O'Neal because at the end of the day, he might knock your quarter panel off and you might knock his off, and it's not a big deal as long as you could take it. You could give it, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, we got a 3-car breakaway right now, Timmy. It's Blair, Moran, O'Neal off at turn 4.
Man, I'll tell you, O'Neal's having a little bit of struggles with exit. He's losing the right front just a touch on exit. He's having to bend it way more than maybe he wants to be able to go straight off the corner, but some of that's because he's behind the car and he can't enter the way you want to either.
Ross Robinson runs in 4th. Earl Pearson Jr. is 5th. He's closing in on him. It's 0.5 of a second, Timmy. Now, if you're Devin Moran, what are you looking for right now with 10 to go?
Well, you're probably hoping to get the lap traffic because Devin's been able to alter his line. He'll run a little wide, getting into 1 and diming the track off of 2. Right then, he just ran the bottom of 3 and 4. And unfortunately, Blair's been stuck in the middle of the racetrack because he's leading, and that's kind of a tough deal. If they catch the back of the pack here, you never know what could happen.
Just think how many laps Devin has here in racing competition and in practice, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a caution, Timmy. The Gorsuch Performance Solutions caution is out. We've got debris on the racetrack. 11 laps in the books. You can take a drink every time I say caution, right, Timmy?
Well, we need to. I guess this is okay that we're not live on a CBS or Fox or NBC. I don't want to get.
Hey, of course he can, James. You said it's just water.
It's just water.
Tim, yeah. I got a feeling, Tim. I got a feeling you would be very good with James and I in the booth at Eldora.
As long as it wasn't an 8-hour program. If we keep it to a 20-lap short run, I can
We've
smile.
had a few of those.
Yeah, I can smile and have some fun. You guys, I'm not always, once you get out of this realm, I'm not always the easiest guy to deal with. I know that people, maybe they think I'm a nice person, but I get pretty ornery and pretty mean, so you guys might not like me after one night here.
What about all these engineers on the couch a few weeks ago at?
Well, that's more of like, so when we went through that.
Donald told me the story on that.
Yeah, I have a lot of guys, and they're all trying to help. I have
right.
guys that I grew up with that don't even race, that went to engineering school, and they want to talk to me about chassis dynamics and things like that. And I love listening to everybody because you can find something from anybody about things, but you can't find it from the heat of the feature.
Yeah.
Because this broadcast is a little bit not behind. But we're over there timing and we're doing all this stuff. It's hard to do it from home. It has nothing to do with the guys I work with. The guys I work with, I wouldn't trade for anybody in the world.
Yeah, your former crew chief, we saw him in West Virginia Motor, Tommy Greco. Here we come at the Racing 3 rows. Restart zone, O'Neill on the outside. Here comes Earl Pearson Jr. into turn 1. Good race, Timmy.
Yeah, it's a big move by Hudson on the outside to get a run there and see what he does with it.
All right, Max Blair. He is led from the start. O'Neill on the outside. Here goes Moran on the bottom. 12 down, 8 to go. Hudson is trying to find any way to get around Max Blair. Here he comes down the back straightaway, Tim.
Yeah, he's definitely got a run there, and he's going to probably slide him into 3 and, slide over his nose and move on to the next one. I mean, he had a huge run off of 2, and Max wasn't ready for it, and that's what happens.
So O'Neill now out in front. 12 laps in the books. Here comes Moran in on Blair. Ross Robinson 4th. Pearson is 5th. Cosner now up to 6th. Here comes Matt Cosner and Garrett Alberson battling it out.
Yeah, Matt's doing a great job. Look at that. He just hooked the Earl broke. It's like something's wrong with a 46.
So the Lucas Oil 46 for Jason Papich off the pace. And he will make it back to the infield. So we've got 5 to go. There's the battle for 2nd and 3rd. Blair and Moran. There was contact there between a 99 and a 111.
Yeah, Moran's trying really hard, and he's trying to do what he saw Hudson do, which was bend in really wide into that nice fluff and try to diamond the racetrack and keep your momentum and make that straightaway as long as you can off of 4. And obviously, there he goes right around the outside. Max just kind of got stuck in that lane just because that's the problem with being the leader in these races. And he broke. It looks like he broke. Max got a flat or something.
And Max Blair off the pace out of turn number 2. And we're going to have a Gorsuch Performance Solutions caution. Left rear down on the 111 car as he will head to the infield. 16 laps, Tim, in the books. It's O'Neill, Moran. Robinson will now be 3rd. Then Costner and Alberson and Max Blair, who led, the first 12, 13 laps of this, led the first 11 laps of this race into the Heartbeat Hot Sauce Hot Pit, Dustin.
Yeah, and you called it, James, a flat left rear on the 111 of Max Blair.
Actually, Timmy called it.
And Timmy called it, yeah. Both of you guys did. That's a good call. That is a tough break. Members of Rocket One down here, members of Max Crew, Boom's down here changing the tire, Tyler Erb down here as well. Austin Hargrove, Joel Rogers, and again, other members of Rocket One down here trying to get the left rear tire put on. Boom actually putting the left rear tire on the 111 of Max Blair. Guys, that is a very, very tough break for your early race leader.
It's sort of like organized chaos, isn't it, on a hot pit? But it's great to see all the teams, and they do that for you too. They help out and get a tire changed or whatever needs to be done.
Yeah, none of our race teams have enough. We have a lot of capital. We have a lot of great owners, but to be able to go down the road like, say, a Cup team or some of these other teams, and we don't have enough people. So when you have an issue like that, it is nice that the teams kind of band together, because I think at the end of the day, we all want to see each other succeed, but we also are competitors too. But it is nice knowing that you have friends in the infield, which is every team. Every team seems to try to help everybody out of a jam.
So one more lap under caution, Blair back out. So it'll be O'Neill, Moran, Robinson, Cosner, Alberson, Anderzak, Loney, Tweed, Clintworth, and then Pearson out of the race, and then it'll be Max Blair. Not sure what happened with EPJ. Maybe Dustin can find out.
I just talked to Earl Pearson. Something electrical. He's not exactly sure what at this point in time, but some sort of electrical failure on the 46.
What would that be, Timmy?
Well, I mean, it could be anything. Obviously, we have these automatic shutoffs. Like if you roll over, they'll shut your car off if the throttle's stuck or if there's a fire. They've had some issues with those over the years where they just shut off and then you reset it and it restarts. But obviously it's more than that, or he'd be back out there. And it's a shame because Earl and I get along really well. We're kind of the old guard, I guess, and he's had some struggles this year, and it's not like him. I mean, normally him and me are kind of a lot of like, we'll struggle in the early part of the season, partly because the tracks are a little maybe rough and just stuff that we used to really race hard on. And as you get older, you just get smoother as a driver, and then you start hitting your stride midsummer, early summer, and Earl's had some struggles, but he'll get it. I mean, the one thing, he's not a quitter, so he'll definitely get whatever his ails are fixed.
All right, Tim McCready, the winner of the first feature tonight. Tell us a little bit how the track looks right now, in your opinion, from that first feature you were in.
It's definitely better. I mean, it's got the bottom, obviously, to where it can be competitive, and there's been some passing, and right now the faster cars are coming to the front. I mean, you see Ross Robinson in the 7, and you see obviously Hudson and Devin are doing their jobs out there, and it's a shame for Max just because it looked like he had a real car, and that might have been happening long before the issue finally showed up and has put him back, but he's got enough laps maybe to get something out of it and get back in the show.
All right, Tim, inside of 5 to go to be single file restart. 4 to go. O'Neill, Moran, Ross Robinson back underway here in Muskingum County. Here comes Ross Robinson. I tell you, Ross has been good since he got that new rocket, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you need to make moves. I mean, whether it's shocks, motors, whatever it is, chassis, and if it's comfortable for you. I mean, Ross has been in those cars before, been successful. He's been successful in our cars also. So at the end of the day, sometimes you got to do what's best for your team.
This Rocket House car has been good for so long. Of course, with Josh Richards, Shepard, and now O'Neill. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on Hudson O'Neill, 22 years old.
You know how Hudson is. I don't think he feels any pressure. He grew up with one of the best driving as his dad, and has been it his whole life. So, the pressure is only what you make for yourself.
So Hudson O'Neill, 1 lap to go. Moran second, Ross Robinson third, Cosner's up to 4th, Alverson 5th, Anderzak is 6th. Max Blair on the outside looking in, final lap. And Hudson O'Neill is going to get it done here out at turn number 4. He will win the second 20-lapper. Devin Moran will take second. Robinson, we got a battle side by side, and Cosner will edge out the 58 of Garrett Alverson, and Rob Anderzak gets the 6th and final transfer spot. Well, Hudson O'Neill, he battled, and he finally got the lead, and he gets the win, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, he did what you do. When you get to the best drivers, in my opinion, they search around. So Hudson started off running where he's running, and then just slightly moved up, getting into 1, and started diamond in the corner, and moved up into 3 and copied that. And Max was kind of a sitting duck just because he was leading so many laps and feeling comfortable, and Hudson did a great job, but that's why he's one of the best to do this right now.
At one point, were you ever asked to ride the Rocket House car?
I mean, Mark and I have talked over the years. I mean, when I got my start, it was Mark. I mean, I was racing for a different race team back home, John Finch Racing, and Vic Coffey and I became really close friends, and I'd work out of their shop whenever I was coming through town, and I just kept asking them, what are you gonna do with those late models? They had a couple of late models they had from when Danny Johnson and Vic raced a little bit, and he just let me run one, and I messed around, and like I said, the story of like me first time in a late model at Hagerstown, spinning out in front of the field in pace laps, like just pacing the lap and trying to warm the tires up. Yeah, it's like,
that's interesting.
I spin this car out in front of 250 photographers that just happen to be in turn 1, and it's like you can't make it a worse debut than what I did. And that fast forwards to Mark Richards calling us like a winner later after I'd run probably 6 or 7 races and saying, hey, I got this swing arm car I want to build, and and we went down to Speed Weeks and worked great together and won a bunch of races. As far as driving his car, I mean, I was always in a really good situation to not have to do it. And just like now, I mean, in an amazing situation right now with Longhorn chassis, being a house car guy, Donald and Gina. I mean, I had a great run with Sweeteners, Ann and Carl Myers,
right.
Vic Coffey, the whole deal. And these are some of the closest people I've had in my entire life. Half of my life has been with them, and Donald and Gina picked up the baton, I guess you'd say, and I feel like nothing's changed except that we've got a little bit more of a younger guy that's fired up that has raced a little bit, which is cool, and his wife Gina, they just, man, they keep me centered and keep me excited to do this. And
was it 04? Was that your first year in the late model?
Yeah, yep.
04,
Well, I did a little bit of dabbling. Like I said, when I was spinning out in front of everybody at the Oktoberfest in Hagerstown.
On a parade lap.
It was before hot laps started. I was just warming the tires up. Like, just went out there and went, and spun out. And then I remember telling Rick Eckert and Robbie Allen Hoggett, I'm like, look at, I drew the pole of this heat race. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, I'm not warming these tires up and spinning out in front of this field. And, like I said, it was a bad start, but the rest was cool.
Hey, fans, give him a big round of applause. Tim McCready up here in the booth. Thank you very much, Timmy.
Guys, thanks for having me.
Great job, my friend.
Congrats to Hudson and everybody.
Got to do this again, yes. And Hudson O'Neill in victory lane here. And he and Devin Moran and Ross Robinson will be on the Big River Steel podium. One more feature to go, and Hudson's going to come up here and take your spot.
Well, he's
He
been
might.
with us. Yeah, I was
He
gonna
might.
say, he's been with us before on a broadcast.
He
James.
has when he had his shoulder surgery.
That's right.
How about it, ladies and gentlemen, out of Martinsville, Indiana, your winner of this second feature of the night, Hudson O'Neal.
It's hard to show your excitement when you know you got 30 grand tomorrow. You know, you don't want to flip out and go crazy because then if you run bad the next day, you're like, man, why were you so excited?
You weren't going to beat the roof down tonight.
You try to be calm.
You're going to
Well,
save
you
that
got
till
to
tomorrow night.
prioritize when you're going to get wild, is what I think.
All right, Destin, take it away.
Well, he's going to join us down here. Hud, congratulations. First and foremost, James, Tim McCready up there joining James in the booth. We all want to know what happened over here in turn number 2. You about lost the handle there right around the halfway point. Did you bottom out? Did you hook a rut? What happened?
There's just huge chunks laying everywhere, and I tried to get up and come back down the racetrack to cross him over, and it's just kind of dirty and you can't see it, and I nailed it. I centered it up, and I really thought it folded our nose under or something, but we were able to hang on. Man, you had to drive that thing for all it was worth right there. So we'll take one. I thought it was a pretty good race, and we'll get a good starting spot for tomorrow, that's for sure.
It looked like it was fun out there race. You and Max Blair and Devin Brand. Was it as fun as it looked from behind the wheel of the race car?
It was. I was getting frustrated a little bit because I felt like I had a good race car. I just couldn't do anything with them. And then once I caught that chunk over there leaving too, then I was really behind and I couldn't do anything. So, man, we were able to pull out. And, I just can't thank my guys, Mark, Austin, Danny, Joel, Cody, my girlfriend back home, everybody watching, and thank you to all you fans. Thank you, Valvoline, Soybert Calf Ranches, O'Neill Savage and Recycling, WR1's Sim Chassis, Ace Metalworks, Gunners Honey, Integra Racing, Shocks, Kaiser's Manufacturing, Performance Grading, Snowco Race Fuels, Andy Durham Race Engines, Rocket Chassis, Rocket Pre-Owned, and appreciate every one of them. Thank you for coming out tonight. Hopefully see you all again tomorrow.
He'll be in the pole shuffle tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. How about it for the new deal, Hudson O'Neal? We'll grab a word with our second and third place finishers as well. Your runner-up in the first feature here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How about it for Devin Moran, the second feature, Devin Moran. Dev, I know you wanted to go out there and win that one. I just talked to Hud. Man, it seemed like a lot of fun out there. You guys put on a really good race. Was it as much fun from your vantage point as it was for all the people in the stands?
Yeah, it's wild. Dad's got some character on it tonight, and I just really didn't expect the bottom to be that good on the start. I watched the first one, but I thought it slowed down some, and I just messed up and went in there and went high like I always do at this place, and it just didn't work out. But congrats to Hud. He did a really good job. Was where he needed to be, and I felt bad. I got smoked with a clunk of mud off a 4 right there, and next thing I know, I rammed Max. I didn't even see him until after it happened, so I apologize to him, but it was wild. It was a lot of fun. I just want to thank Roger Sellers. He's here this weekend, Double Down Motorsports, Robbie, Connor, Casey, all them back at home, Lazy Days RV, Big River Steel, Dad for having a big event for us this weekend, and hope everyone comes out tomorrow.
Last question. If there's 2,000 people in the stands, I think 1,900 of them are Devin Moran fans. What do you want to say to all your fans here at Muskingum County?
I just appreciate everyone coming out, and I appreciate their support, and hopefully we have a hell of a party tomorrow night.
How about it, ladies and gentlemen, for Devin Moran? And we'll grab a word with your third place finisher as well. A solid run for the Georgetown, Delaware driver. How about it? Give me a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, Ross Robinson. Ross, congratulations, man. I feel like that is, I would say, the run, one of the runs that you've been looking for so far this year. It happens to come here at Muskingum County.
Yeah, it's since we got in this new car, this new Rocket, it's definitely been, I mean, it's not going to be an overnight success. It's going to take building a notebook and learning. And like I said, when I went there the first day to start putting it together with Amanda, it's first day of school all over again. So, but it's what we needed. I can't thank my car owners, Kenny and Tracy Adams, enough. Stoking Materials, Iron Source, Equipment Rentals, Hard Scrabble Express, Frozen Farmer, Atlantic Prime Mortgage, Commonwealth Equipment. There's just so many people, but I can't do this without Amanda. If it wasn't for Amanda, I'd be sitting home watching on Flow. I can promise you that.
Well, we're glad that you're here racing. Congratulations, man. Is this the start? Is this what you need to get your season, I want to say jump started, but to get things pointed back in the right direction?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just baby steps and confidence. I said if we can start getting stuff like this and get me believing in myself again, the rest will take care of itself, and just get me used to it for August 24th, whatever it is, and we get to go to my hometown.
How about it, ladies and gentlemen? The boss, Ross Robinson, rounds out your Big River Steel podium here this evening. In the second feature, we'll get Devin Moran over here on the Big River Steel podium as well. James, 2 features down, 1 to go, and I believe Hudson O'Neill is going to join you in the booth on the call for feature number 3 coming up a little bit later on.
How about Tim McCready there? And you did Big Block Modifieds. First time you've done a late model. Great job, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. It happens way faster. I hate to say it to make all my big block friends mad, but it seems like when I was doing big blocks, we had a little more time.
All right,
it happens quick out here with these late models.
So what do you do now? You went, you're taking the car back to the hauler, obviously. You go through, you guys go through it tonight and tomorrow and get ready for tomorrow night, or what's the strategy now?
Yeah, for me personally, I really wish I'll go back and look at a bunch of lap times, but I thought honestly, just being dead honest, we had a small spell from lap 12 to 16 where we were kind of losing. I saw the sticks getting closer, so I'll go back and look at the lap times. I tried to alter my line into one and kind of do what Hudson was doing, ease up into the cushion a little harder and then dime in the corner and see if that helped us versus whoever was second. I believe it was JD at the time. And go from there. I mean, it's hard to go out in the first race because the track's always wet.
Right.
You're going to start seeing, like, how it's going to be for the big boys in this last race, partly because the track's starting to get wide. So we just work our tails off. That's all we do.
James, I got a question for Tim real quick. Tim, how much time will you spend going back and watching highlights or watching the race again on Flow, and how much does that play or how much you take into account watching that video, what you guys do on the race car from night to night?
It's ever since the streaming obviously came on board over the years. I can remember years back watching Darrell Lanigan when he was on a run and winning a lot of races, and I'm like, his car is the highest car in the air. Like from the middle of 1 and 2 to off a turn and down into 3, it never sits down. We would concentrate on trying to make our car look like it could do that, and once you could get your car to look the same, you got maybe within 2/10 of the guy, and then after that it's like, okay, turn here, a turn there, some wedge, whatever you got to do. And that's kind of how we are now. I mean, there's so much information out there, whether it's lap times on the race pass, and then you got Flow, and you got pictures from Dirt on Dirt. You can at least sit down and look at your car and try to make it better based off of that information, which is stuff we didn't have when I first started. So it's an amazing world to live in right now.
Now, you saw Hudson. He had probably the fastest car out there. You've had the fastest car many times. What do you have to be patient? Do you have just what? This kid's only 22 years old.
It's hard to be.
I'm
not going to lie to you. It's hard to take laps off anymore. I know that everybody's like, oh, back when I started, Scott Bloomquist would do 100 interviews and be like, I just kind of took it easy, saved my edges.
Yeah.
Nowadays, when you save your edges, a kid that's 21 years old like Hudson comes down there and he almost tears your flopper off when he goes by. And it's like, oh, man, I better pick it up. So it's really hard to take laps off like we used to. So which forces you to make your car better. The more you make your car better, the harder you can drive and the longer it'll last. And that's it's just a different era how we drive now compared to what it was when I came in the early 2000s.
So what do you do now? Do you go back and you watch this third feature coming up here? Or
I can't wait. I mean, it's always more fun to not be in the fray. If you're stuck at the track and you're not in the fray, me being selfish, I want him to go out there and till this thing up, right? I'm a fan now. Let's till it up. Let's see spoilers ripped off. Let's see guys running over each other. And I'll sit in the infield and be like, yes, and scream and yell. I mean, that's what the fans want, right? That's what they all want.
From East Bay, park it on my carburetor.
Yeah, when I'm out there, I want us to race normal. But when I'm in the infield, I'm no different than anybody else. I'm ready. Let's have World War III out on the racetrack.
You got to have a racetrack hot dog. Now, do you have a racetrack hot dog whenever you come to the races?
Listen, I'm still nervous from earlier today. My nerves are shot. I probably won't eat till.
Why are you still nervous?
I don't know. I'm always nervous at the track.
You got to be. Butterflies. My
whole life has been. You want to succeed, and when you fail, which we fail, unfortunately in racing, we fail more than we succeed. So,
Billy Moyer's won 847 races, but he's
I'm at like 100. I might be at 100 or 150, so I'm way behind him.
So Moyer's like at 840, 874, whatever it is. So he's probably lost 2,000. I don't know how many races.
That's what I mean. It's an amazing life that we've all chosen to do. The fact that you can go out there and run and just get in that truck and think, why am I still doing this? And then you go to the track the next day and you see a couple fans that show up and they're like, hey, what an amazing time. I'm glad you're here. And then you try to let it all go. I mean, really, the fans help us stay pumped up.
Before we go, Buffalo Bills,
Always
What do
the
you thinking?
Buffalo Bills.
What are you thinking for 2023 here?
Undefeated in the Super Bowl. What do you mean?
Well,
what
there
am I
you go.
thinking?
That's all we need to know.
Undefeated Super Bowl, go Bills.
You ever driven one of these 4-cylinders?
If they want to, well, if I didn't have my adult beverage up here, I'd drive one right now, but because I'm happy. Or last week I wouldn't wanted to even talk to anybody about driving.
Most of them may have already had one. I'm not really
They
sure.
might have. You never know. These guys raced. They were 5 wide in hot laps when I was watching. I was
wide
watching
enough.
on flow back in the truck. They're 5 wide in hot laps going through the mud. I'm like, this is hot laps.
Did you
guys.
ever have a hatchback like that?
My mom had a Plymouth Horizon. You remember the Horizon?
Plymouth Horizon.
Listen, I'm telling you, I'm dating myself. I might get fired.
All right.
People think I think I'm like 60 instead of like I'm only 49, guys.